All right, we live.
Hey, what's going on, YouTube world? It's Crucial Critics again. We back for another banger. You got your boy Rod as the host today.
Back again like we never left, man. It's your boy Tim.
Yes, sir. Rome in the building.
Yeah, man, today, and we got something. We're gonna talk about this Earl and this Bud again, man, and different ways that we think that they can win,
But
dominate.
hold on, Rob. You of all
I
people should
talk
know
to him. Talk to him.
what time it
Oh,
is,
okay,
man.
okay,
It's
okay.
3 o'clock, homie.
Oh, I like that right there. It is.
Matter
Hey,
of fact,
it's
it's 3:33, homie.
yeah, y'all heard that, people? It's three of us, man. It's three of us, the three guys, man. But yeah, you got. Come on, Tim, give me one, cause you got something. Come on, give me something.
All right, man. I'm gonna go from the perspective of from Earl first.
No. Pause. You gotta put your threes in there, man. Three of what? Come on, man. Three
Oh
of a
yeah.
kind, three spades. Something. Give me something, man.
yeah, man. You took it from me, man. Three spades, three Ninja Turtles, man.
All of that good shit. All of that good shit.
Three
But go ahead, pick it
kickback.
up, Tim. Pick it up, man. Pick it up,
I'm
bro.
telling you, man. Yeah, but I'm gonna go with Earl first, man. I think Earl, the key to success for Earl is what he normally does, man. Pace, and pressure. Um, but I'm not talking about reckless pressure, of course, like Sean Porter hopping in and hopping out, man. I think that he keep up a fast pace, a consistent pace the whole fight. I just don't see Crawford being able to keep up with the pace for 12 rounds. I'm not saying that he can't amp it up at times. I'm not saying that Crawford doesn't have the ability. I haven't seen him do that in his fights previously. From lately, from what I've seen, Crawford is a counter punching. I believe
I ain't
that's
trying
how
to
he's
cut
been
you
his
off. I ain't
whole
trying to
career.
cut you off, boy. I
Go
got a
ahead.
question. I got a
Go
question.
ahead.
Do we think that Earl can hurt him with one punch?
Yeah, man. I think. Well, I don't want to be disrespectful, man, but we seen your boy. We seen Crawford. Get hurt a few times from a few different fighters that I believe is not on Earl's level. So I definitely think Crawford can be hurt. The thing is that if Earl hurt him, he got to finish the job. But I think Earl can win in 12. But I would like to see if he hurt Crawford, he can finish the job. Because it always seems like when Crawford get hurt, he locked back in.
So,
But this it's a different caliber of fighter right
so,
there. Go
so to
ahead, Ron.
throw, so to make it interesting, throw a wrenching on you, Tim.
Okay.
Let's say Earl, his pressure and his volume not working like usual. What
Okay.
do you think he needs to do to win this fight? Let's say Crawford is on his A game, on his best shit, and the stuff that Earl usually does isn't working. What do you think he needs to do to secure the victory?
Man, honestly, I'm gonna go with what Earl told us. If the game plan ain't working, he gonna go fight. You got to throw the game plan out the window. You got to go fight. You got to go fight in the pocket. You got to go smothering him, and you just got to make him fight, bro. You gonna have to make Crawford fight. I think that's
But
I think that's the key.
Crawford got the best. I can't even. Can we call it combination or orthodox combinations? He throw combinations that
He
man, the
does,
man. I mean, the dude
but
can throw. Go ahead though. Go ahead. I'm gonna chime in
no,
on you though.
you're right.
Oh yeah, I'm interrupting both of y'all today. We finna have some
Nah,
dialogue, bro. I want to start some shit.
I think, man, I think that's the. I mean, like Earl always said, if the game plan go out the window, he gonna go fight you. You gonna have to fight. You gonna have to scrap, and you have to claw to beat Earl. And that's the if that's not working. I mean, I don't know what I don't know what else that he can do because in any fight, like the best fighters that we ever seen was Floyd Mayweather, and the fighters that gave him the most problems is the ones that made him fight. He couldn't think, he couldn't sit back and calculate what he was doing and doing. He had to actually go in there and fight, and that's what from the great Floyd
But
Mayweather, and that's what he
but
said.
when
Go
you
ahead.
saying that,
Mm-hmm.
Earl got one of the best. He got to put that jab. He got to use his jab. You know that jab gave Floyd problems.
No,
So
no,
we
no.
can
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
if we putting Bud right there, not saying he good as Floyd, but we putting him there and that's what give him fits. Earl got to bring that jab to the show.
What Floyd told Devin. I think this was Devin Haney he was talking to about, if I'm not mistaken. He told him sometimes you just got to go in there and fight.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
and that's with certain opponents. You know, sometimes you just gotta go in there and fight, and that's why I give Earl a little bit more of a leg up. I think that if all else fails, he gonna go in there and fight.
So
Uh,
what? So on the flip side, what does
mhm.
Crawford have to do?
Man, I think what Crawford has to do, man. I think and this is the crazy thing though. This is the crazy thing. I think Crawford got to go in there and beat Crawford. I think Crawford counterpunching has to be A plus that night, man. I think that he has to make Earl a little bit nervous of coming in there and going to the body like he normally does and punching volumes. I think he has to hit Earl and make him feel his power early. That way, you can make Earl respect your power. So he won't come in there
I
reckless.
don't know, Tim. I don't think that's gonna make. I think Earl's still coming forward.
You
I
think
really don't
so,
think that's gonna. He just see too much of a dog, bro. It's that Texas shit in it. I think
man?
he's still gonna come forward. I just that's what I believe. I just think because we seen
Yeah,
what Ugas almost dropped him when he off that free punch, man, and shit. What
yeah.
he did, his legs buckled, man. That dude, shit, he came right back. He didn't
But
even take no steps back. He moved a little bit, but he thought his teeth was knocked out. So I don't
but
think
we
it was.
always say, but look, this what Crawford said. I'm gonna go with what he said. He said if that was me that hit Earl, he would have stopped him. That's what he said. So you,
It's possible, man, because Ugas is not known as a big puncher. You look at his knockouts and stuff. They say he's not known as a big puncher. And the thing is with them fighters, man, they hit hard enough to keep you off of them, though. But
and
shit,
that's what
Ugas
I'm
can keep
saying.
him off of him.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
man, styles make fights, bro.
Yeah, I think Crawford. I think Crawford just gotta he gotta do what he does well already, which is counter punch. And I think because and this is why I say this. This is why I say that Rob though with the counter punching. Danny Garcia was. I know Earl wasn't 100%, but that fight showed me right there that if you a good counterpuncher, Earl just not coming in there banging on you like how he did Ugas. Like the Danny fight, he said Danny hit him with something that was hard that made him respect him, and he was kind of in and out on Danny. He wasn't
Mm-hmm.
just in that pocket trying to, you know what I'm saying, get loose like a bowl of juice. He wasn't doing it on Danny like how he did with Ugas, So I think if Crawford can hit him with something, show him that he got power, I think that's gonna slow down Earl motor. And I think Tyrone told me this too. I think he was agreeing when we was talking, off the
Of course, he gonna
recording.
agree with you. Both of
Yeah.
y'all. Y'all ain't gonna
Nah,
say it. Y'all secretly got Earl winning the fight.
nah.
Yeah, yeah,
He actually was
yeah.
taking up for Crawford. He said,
But I
Tyrone
know,
told me.
man.
He told me, he
Whatever.
said if Bud can hit him with something hard, he can slow down Earl motor. And we seen, like I said, he and Earl said that out of his mouth. Daniel was one of the hardest punchers. And in that fight, did you see? Earl motor wasn't on 100, but like I said, I don't know how much we can take of that fight
Not
because
out that fight
he was
because that was
coming
coming after the wreck.
off the rig, yeah. But we didn't
Yeah, I
see,
mean,
the motor.
to object, he was coming off the rig. We gonna equate that in, but he still whooped Danny ass worse than anybody we seen. Rob,
He did. That nigga almost
Not
knocked Danny
huh?
eye out
Huh?
his face.
the only
Oh,
thing
you
that
talking about
stopped him from
somebody else? Okay.
obliterating Danny was he got tired, bro, and I think it was because he had to be so cautious with going in and out on Danny like he was, bro. He had to do a lot of moving. He had to
Exactly.
he had to be going in and out a lot to stop that counterpunch from catching him. You know what I'm saying? So I
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying about Crawford. But that's my take, man. I'm being long winded. What you got, Ron? Go ahead.
man, so I'm gonna start with Earl first, man. I think that Earl has to incorporate that jab. He has to use the jab, man. Primarily, like the jab, he has to make the jab a big time factor in this fight. If he allows Bud to take away his jab, it's gonna slow down a lot of his it's gonna slow down his work rate because that's what he sets everything up off of. And Bud is not the type of fighter that you want to go out there and start winging hooks and shots against because he gonna counter the shit out of you. Like you want to make Bud respect your jab because that'll keep Bud at bay. The reason the reason why I say that is because with the jab, similar like in the Kell Brook fight, until Bud mirrored and went southpaw and came over the top of Kell Brooks well, he attempted to throw a lead right hand and he countered him. Until then, Bud was having trouble getting out of the way of the jab. He didn't have that lead hand to mirror to block the jab that was coming, straight towards him. So if Earl establishes the jab, the only way Bud can deflect with his lead hand, he's gonna have to stay orthodox. So that'll take away the southpaw position from Bud, if Earl implements the jab. So if the jab is going, it'll pretty much set on. I ain't gonna say it's just gonna set everything. It's not gonna be that easy, but it'll stop Bud from being able to just switch hit freely like he usually does going southpaw. If he sets the jab up, being that Earl has the straighter punches out of the two, I think he'll be able to beat Crawford to the punch in some moments. Being that Crawford likes to loop a lot of his punches. Being that Crawford has the wider and fatter punches. Outside of that, man, I say that yeah, he has to implement that jab, and if he counters Bud, he has to counter Bud to the body. He has to counter him to the body. He doesn't need to be trying to wing and counter Bud at his head.
So do you want to counter punch? Do you want to counter punch with a counter puncher? Do you want to do that?
Well, so you can, but you have to dictate it. Similar like when Madonna caught Floyd. He seen
Yeah.
that Floyd was pull countering. So what he did was he threw bait out there for Floyd to
Mm-hmm.
pull counter, and he met Floyd with that right hand
But
while Floyd was coming with his.
oh,
That's how
do
he
we
hurt
think
Floyd.
is Terrence Crawford, as far as thinking the fight game, is he in that realm with Floyd?
I want to say he has more variety to his counters than Floyd does.
The
Floyd
reason why
Floyd
I asked, because you seen McDonald landed that he countered one time and Floyd found the range. McDonald kept trying to counter, but he couldn't land it.
Yeah,
Floyd took it away from him.
that's
Can
true.
Crawford do that? Can Crawford do that? If Earl was to counter him, can Bud, figure out his mistake and take it away?
I think Bud can, but like I said, my thought process is most of Bud um, adjustments are offensive. They're not defensive like Floyd's was. I know people compare them, but they're not. They're not the. They're not the same type of fighter like people like to think. Like Bud is way more offensive, and he's gonna fight you off of him. He's not gonna just let you do anything to him. That's one thing about Bud. Like he's not just gonna sit. And I'm not saying Floyd did either. Floyd will walk you down if you hurt Floyd. Floyd had dog too, but Bud is a lot more willing to let his hands go than Floyd was after getting hurt. At these higher divisions, at least. I, I
Oh,
say I
okay,
say
Ron. Before you keep going, I want to throw that like you threw it out there with me. If that jab don't work for Earl to set up that work rate, what does he got to do to win?
what does he have to do to win? Man, he's gonna have to fight a whole lot like he did with Kell Brook and Lamont Peterson in some spurts, man. He's gonna have to come forward with that high guard and try to get Bud to engage. Try to get Bud to engage and let Bud initiate his own offense. That'll get Bud out of the defensive countering mode. And if Bud is engaged, and he can possibly lure Bud into some exchanges and into some inside fighting. Being that Bud doesn't really utilize his jab, he has the longer arms out of two, but Bud doesn't really depend on his jab because he's so damn athletic that he can loop shots from so many crazy angles. He doesn't have to depend on the jab, to be honest, because he's that gifted offensively. So um Earl is just gonna have to be disciplined. He's gonna have to walk behind that high guard, and I mean, any at any moment he gets within range to Bud, he's gonna have to unleash hell on him. Because without that jab being a factor, man, it's hard for me to see him being able to capitalize on Bud being in front of him. As far as what I see Bud needing to do, man. Now this gonna mirror what I said Earl needed to do. Bud's gonna have to take away the jab from Earl. He's gonna have to take away the jab. And the way that I believe he can do that and do that effectively, he needs to move lateral on Earl, not straight back. Don't give Earl a full head of steam coming towards on you, because that's how he gets his motor going. That's how he like a fucking push lawnmower. When that bitch get rolling, he chopping everything up in front of him. So you don't wanna get him coming forward. You wanna. I think when Earl is pumping and throwing his jab, you want to counter him like Kel did, but not to the head. You want to go to Earl's body. Earl don't like body shots. So you go to Earl's body and you do it like continuously. You go to his body, you circle out, and you make him reset. You make him think about throwing that jab. If he can get Earl to second guess throwing his jab, Earl gonna have hell on his hands. Bud will have a phenomenal night. Like if he can get Earl to second guess throwing that jab, because that is like the bread and butter to Earl's game. Not saying that's the only punch that he has in this variety, but if you can get him to second guess throwing his basic punch, man, it's gonna, like, the way that Crawford sets up his game and all that. I think he'll be able to set up his game a whole lot more with Earl, but I think he has to do it by countering to Earl's body. That'll slow Earl work rate down. That'll slow Earl down. Anybody getting hit to the body is gonna slow down. That'll slow him down. So him coming forward, getting hit with body shots, similar like he did with Sean Porter. Even though Sean was lunging a lot, he kept chopping away at Sean's body. That slowed Sean down, and you could literally see in the middle round, Sean kind of just fell flat, like, bro, like he didn't want to take no more of the motherfucker. So I feel like Crawford has to be on this counter punching game, but he needs to counter Earl to the body. Whenever Earl extends and comes in heavy on the front foot with his jab, Bud needs to be throwing liver shots. Being that Earl is a southpaw, the liver is exposed. The liver, if a damaged liver weakens your legs. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but I feel like that's what needs to be Terrence Crawford's money shot, the liver shot towards Earl. And he might have to turn southpaw to do that, but the thing that's gonna be tricky with him turning southpaw, Bud likes to throw a looping right hook, and he circles out towards his right, and he pivots back. He kind of shuffles backward. He doesn't really, like, he kind of squares up and like kind of back pedals is what I meaning to say. The danger with that is Earl could throw a straight left and time him and catch him with that, because Earl is southpaw. He won't be able to rotate out him like he did like the orthodox fighter. So I think he's going to have to probably stay in orthodox and able to be effective against Earl and be able to shield and block some of those jabs. So I think he has to do most of his work from the orthodox position and counter Earl to the body, man. And that's just my simple breakdown right now as far as what I think both fighters need to do in order to at least be effective on get himself the best opportunity of winning.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Rob, what you think, bro?
Man, for Earl, I think Earl need to get his jab going, keep his jab going. I think that'll offset a lot of he need to gauge the distance, and because Earl got a fucking brilliant jab, he got a beautiful jab, man. It's nice. I think if he get his jab going, he can offset a lot of Terrence Crawford movement, because a jab is one of the punches. They hard to predict or guess. You can see the movement, but if they was easy to predict, people wouldn't throw it. So I think the jab is kind of like a neutralizer for a lot of guys, especially guys with movement. If you can jab good, you got a good jab. It'll, because with them moving and stuff, and you jabbing, if you can jab it, you get the good timing with the jab. It'll stop a lot of that movement. But they always say go to the body and stuff like that. But Earl got.
Hey Rob, I had a question. I had a question on the jab. So if Earl using the jab, is he using the jab to set up combinations from the mid range? Is he using the jab to get on the inside to work, or do you think he's trying to box with the jab? What are you using it for in your eyes? What you seeing him, the keys to victory? What you seeing him using it as?
I think the jab at first will start off as a boxing tool. I would say as far as a boxing tool, but further on during the fight, I think the jab would make Bud kind of. I can't say. See if Bud can't counter the jab, he gonna have to go to a whole another game plan. Even with Floyd, we seen Floyd when he fight guys with a good jab. He had the pull counter, but guys who had a fast jab like Oscar De La Hoya, he had to bank on De La Hoya getting tired. Excuse me, because without De La Hoya getting tired, man, they would have drawn that fight out a lot longer because of the jab. And so I think at first he need to at least establish the jab to show Terrence, because I can jab you too, and I think with Terrence worrying about the jab, Earl will be able to get a little closer, because Terrence got to get punches off, and with him trying to counterpunch is when Earl getting caught. I mean, and like I'm gonna tell you my side of what I think about the counterpunching when I get to Terrence, and I think Earl needs to do a little counterpunching. I think he needs to do a little counterpunching to like what Tyrone was saying when I asked him, would you counterpunch with a counterpuncher? I think that's part of the game plan for Errol. I think he needs to do that. He can't stick to just digging at being a body snatcher. I think that's difficult in this fight against this guy because of the uppercuts from the counterpunching stance. From the uppercuts from him as being a counterpuncher. And we know Terence Crawford damn near got some of the best uppercuts in boxing, especially coming from a counterpuncher side. So I think Earl needs to jab. I can't say move too much because Bud gonna do a lot of moving for both of them. So I won't say move a lot, but he definitely needs to jab and let the jab kind of dictate a lot of what's gonna happen in the fight, because him throwing a variety of punches, it's just common sense is gonna open him up for counter punches. And the worst punches to get hit with is the one you don't see coming. So, and that's what Bud is good at, hitting you with uppercuts while you swinging and you don't see it, and he, yank your neck with an uppercut when he hit you on the chin and yank your head to the side. You don't, now you down. And we know he the best finisher in boxing. So with that, I think Earl just need to just establish the jab, just to keep like Kell Brook kind of what Kell Brook did to Bud. I can't say Earl's jab is as good as Kell Brook's, but I think it's good enough to where he can keep Bud kind of honest like Kell Brook did, because without that punch, Bud was kind of honest with Kell Brook, man. He kept switching and he kept trying to find his way, and we can say Bud was losing, I think when he stopped killing the fifth or the sixth round, we can say Bud was losing 4 of those rounds because of the jab. The jab was giving Bud problems. So I think the jab is the key. And for my thing with Bud, I think counterpunching. Him just a lot of counterpunching, man. And because Earl is the body snatcher. He going to the body. And I think uppercuts is going to give him a problem. I think it's going to give him a problem because he's not going to see him, because he already low. He low, so he's not going to see the uppercuts coming, and so I think that's going to be a problem. And like Tyrone said, going to the body of Earl. But, yeah, I mean, that will work. That will work going to the body. But, I think Earl will trade body punches. He'll love to trade body punches with Bud. I definitely see that. He'll love to trade body punch for a body punch. So
I got a question. Rob. So I know you're talking about uppercuts being the key to, one of the keys to victory for Crawford. With Earl going to the body. Now, do you think those uppercuts will be as effective for Bud? Because we known him to fight he pretty much a southpaw fighter.
Do you think those uppercuts will be as effective on the southpaw as they are most of the time on orthodox fighters?
I think it's just if he because the way he throw his punches is like he know where he placing them. So if he landed like he want to, it don't matter what hand which your stance is, orthodox or southpaw. I think if he landed, you gonna feel it.
So
So
we got to give you some pushback though, Rob.
go
So
ahead, I'm listening.
let's say Earl having his way, and the volume is getting the best of Earl. I mean, getting the best of Bud, and is throwing his timing off to counterpunch. What is his plan? What is his plan B?
I think so. If for one, if that's happening, that means Earl is hitting him. We know what Terrence Crawford does when he get hit. So that pretty much, I would think, would answer that. We know what he gonna do. Terrence get hit, he want his punch back. He want his leg back. So that's when, again, the counter puncher can come in because if he want his leg back, he not moving that much. And that's what Earl want. Earl want him to sit steady so he can go to the body and, try to break him down. And then the counter puncher actually is like a full circle for me. The counter puncher come in again with
Right.
the uppercuts, and because he's not moving as much. And that's what Earl want, him sitting still in front of him so he can go to the head, go to the body. So I think that'll benefit both. It'll benefit both as far as Bud's counter punching and Earl kind of systematically breaking him down, going to the body, you know, forcing his will upon him by banging on the body, going to, how they said he chopping a tree. He started at the trunk. You know what I'm saying? You don't cut the tree down from the top, you cut it from the bottom, so or the midsection, the mid area. So I think it'll benefit both of them. I think that's what my take. That was my take on both of them winning, but I think they fighting style is gonna benefit both of them in general, bro. You know what I'm saying? And this part of the thing, this set part of the segment, I want us to question each other now. Because I believe they styles is going. I think the styles is gonna clash for real. I think they're gonna clash, and it's gonna force it to be a legendary fight.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I feel like with the way that they implement they styles on their opponents, man, it's gonna be a clash. Like regardless of the the game plan, the X's and O's, et cetera, et cetera. Unless somebody comes out and just get hurt early, I feel like it's gonna be real close rounds in there, man. I think they're gonna try to start off a little tactical, and then it's gonna break out into like a real scrap, maybe around like the 6th and 7th round. And then from there on, man, it just depends on who makes the adjustments.
So how you see the first rounds going?
The first rounds, man, I see man, I think it's gonna start off a little faster than usual than what a lot of people think.
Okay, yeah,
I
I
don't think
believe so too.
I don't think it's gonna be nothing crazy where they trying to because I don't think neither one of them gonna want to make a mistake against the other.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's gonna be like high speed chess, man. And then I think a dog fight. It's gonna a fight gonna break out towards those middle rounds, man. At least that's how
Now,
I.
now, if a fight break out, who do you think that the advantage go to?
I
I
mean,
think both of them benefit from it.
it
I
depends
really.
on, it depends on how the fight break out. Like if Earl's catching Bud, Bud want his lick back, but Earl the same way. If Bud counters Earl, you seen what he did with Ugas. You know what I'm saying? So like
Yeah,
it just depends. They both gonna come forward eventually if they get.
I think honestly, I think depending on where the fight is at, I think if they fighting in the pocket, I think Earl got the advantage. I think at the mid range, I think Crawford got the advantage at the mid range because his arms it opens it up for his length, the counter punch at the mid range.
Right.
I think if Earl smother him a little bit, Earl like to fight up in the pocket. He can get his shots off. He shoulder to shoulder. I think Crawford cannot afford to let Earl get on the inside, but I think Earl has to. I think Earl can't fight Crawford at the mid range. I think the mid range for Crawford is money. I think he just the way he can place his shots from that distance. You know, the like you said, the variety of punches he can throw. I think it definitely gives Crawford the advantage in the mid range. So that's why earlier I was saying, you know, I think I think he has to push this fight on the inside. I think he has to, you know, like I said, smother him, make this a fight
Well, how
because
high is the risk of him trying to push it to the inside? How high is this risk of trying to, just because him forcing it, he gonna have to walk in throwing them punches like he usually do.
nah, I
Uh,
think I think what you guys were saying was accurate. I think if he uses the jab to get on the inside, I think that's his key. I think he
so
got to
what
use
happens
the
if
jab to
Chance
get on
take the
the
jab
inside.
away?
If Terrence takes the jab away, that means Terrence is going to be counterpunching. Oh, you know, for him to take that jab away, he will have
So
to be counterpunching.
me to answer that, I ain't mean to cut you off. It just
I'm not
depends
going.
how he takes the jab away. Like Sean took it away by getting on the inside of Earl.
Yeah,
Sean Porter took it away. Like he pretty much one of the only fighters that took Earl's jab away, but that's because he got on the inside and banged with Earl. So yeah, it just depends on how Bud takes it away. But the thing is, like, if Bud is all the way out, and being more of an outboxer with jab, then he gonna have to kind of jab with Earl to initiate his own offense. Being that he
yeah,
do, being
yeah,
that he have the longer arms, he'll still be able to touch Earl. But I don't know if you want to jab with Earl, like in that type of a match with him coming forward, because you giving him a head of steam. So for Bud, I feel like he need to move lateral on Earl and turn him. That's another way he can throw his jab game out. That's why I say I think he needs to counter him to the body and move lateral on Earl. It doesn't need to be him just standing in the pocket and banging him at the body. It could be one or two shots at the time and then turning them. That could take a fighter legs away. So, or at least make them adjust their game. So it just depends on how he take Earl jab away from me.
yeah.
Man,
I mean, and I cut y'all. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Like the reason why I didn't say him get, I don't see Crawford. I don't see him getting on the inside like a Porter. I don't think that's his. I don't think that's a key to victory for Crawford if he wants to win. I don't think he needs to try to get on the inside of Earl. That's why I didn't even bring that up. But I agree. I think him moving laterally and spinning, I think he definitely can do that. I think that's more of what Crawford does than fighting on the inside. If he learned anything from Porter and what he could take, I think him, circling, but I mean circling Earl and spinning and going to the body. I think that's like you said, that's the way to take away the jab. Because I mean, him fighting on the inside, I don't think he can win that fight. That's just my opinion.
man, fellas, we can talk about this. We can talk about this one all day, man. We probably want to cut this one here
Yes,
and
sir.
pick up, to be continued because we got about over a month for sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So but hey, YouTube world, it's Crucial Critics, man. You know what I'm saying? The three apples that fell out the tree, man.
Hey, hey.
We all of that. We all of that good shit, man. All of that good shit. Them three steroid needles you see on the ground, man. Hey, that's us, man. But man, we're gonna close this one out. We're gonna see y'all later, man. Till next time. Please don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, sir.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
And how do y'all see the
Leave
fight
comments.
going, man? What do they have to do?
Leave comments. Cause I mean, we don't, like I said, we don't know everything, but we know some shit. Leave some comments, man. Tell us what y'all think, and we can have some, open dialogue about it, man. Hey, we're gonna be doing them call-ins too. We're gonna let y'all call in, and hey, we're gonna talk some shit. I can't wait, man. I can't wait, man. Y'all get these views up for us, man, and just help us build a platform, man. We're gonna have a lot for y'all, man. We out.
Yes, we out.
It easy.